Okay. And are there certain financial metrics or profiles that you'll overlay on top of that? Maybe it's we take businesses from 1 mil to 10 mil and then exit, or what does that look like?
Case by case, yeah. I mean, obviously, since I'd be taking minority in most of them, or that's like what the plan is instead of taking the majority. It's dependent on the founder, right? So like, there's an agency that I bought half of in January, and the founder just wanted to scale and exit. I'm like, great, let's do that. Let's do it nice and quick, right? Whereas some people are like, hey, this is my legacy business. I want to do this forever. Let's scale this. I'm like, that's fine too. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily I'm not necessarily like looking for quick exits or looking for companies that last forever. It's more based on them because in the end, I'm just trying to help them get to their goal. And so if that's their goal and I feel like it's okay and I align with it and it's a good goal to have, then let's do it. Doesn't really matter if it's like we want to sell in 6 months or we want to stick around for 16 years.
Okay. And when you're talking these more long-term partnerships with people, what does the structure look like? Is that, equity? Is that profit share? Are you still taking your agency fee? Can you just talk to that?
Yeah, it depends on the deal. So if I mean obviously if I'm doing a function inside the business, then I get a salary. For lots of them, obviously I don't want to have that because I don't want to have a position inside the company. Dominus always gets paid because they do the lead generation. Depending on what the deal is, it could be the actual just the cost of our service with no profit on top of it, or it could be what our normal retainers are, depending on what kind of deal it is. And then the distributions, of course.
Okay. This is obviously, a big thing to ask someone and to kind of, I guess, vet their business on day one. Is there a process before that then? Do you date before you marry?
Yeah, so that's the idea of Dominus. The Dominus is is the lead generation. So we're bringing these people in. We're working with them for 6 months to a year. If we have a good relationship with them, if we're scaling them well, if the numbers look good, if everything's doing well, it's like, hey guys, we've scaled you to X amount of dollars. We've been working together now for 6 months. Like, I'd really like to start talking about maybe having a piece in the company. Right. So absolutely. It's not like I'm not taking people outside of our ecosystem. I'm not it's people that have gone through our systems that we've been able to scale, that we're seeing the right numbers with, that we have a good relationship with, that it stick with us for 6 months to a year. Like the stars kind of have to align.
Okay. My final question then, as we kind of, start to round this off, is I think now you're starting to reach that maybe goal day where you have, a lot of your personal vision and kind of values and mission
Yeah.
aligning with, your business. Is that the case? And if so, what does your kind of perfect day look like?
Yeah, I mean, getting there closer and closer, there's still things that I'm building to be able to get rid of that type of stuff, right? Like as I mentioned, like the sales side of Dominus isn't built out yet. And so we're either gonna start building that ourselves from zero or merge with someone that already has kind of like a sales management agency of sorts or a sales consulting agency. Um, and so that's next step to be able to kind of take all sales things from my companies off my plate and from our clients as well. So every day there's things like that I think that's one of the things that drives me forward. And I say it in kind of like a facetious way, but like laziness motivates me a lot because like my goal is to do nothing. So every day, and my wife always tells me like there's no way you're lazy. You work every day. It's like, yeah, but my motivation is to do nothing. So every day I'm working towards doing less, if that makes sense. And I don't know if there'll ever be a day where I'm not doing anything. She doesn't believe there is. But yeah, an ideal day for me is, yeah, like I said, like working that 4 to 6 hours a day type thing, taking long trips. Like we just traveled all of August and we just came back, not have to worry about things. Everything's going smoothly. I'm in the UK right now, which is beautiful because the majority of my companies are in like EST time zone. So the full mornings, my wife and I just have free to, go play tennis or go to brunch or breakfast somewhere, walk around the city, just hang out, start working at like 2 p.m., get off at like 7 or 8 type thing. For me, that's all I want it to be. And then just to once I'm able to get more of this sales stuff off my plate, then just for my wife and I to be able to dive into kind of starting our own nonprofit, our own charity, and then For me, that's not work. That's that I'm happy to do for as long as is necessary to get it off the ground and to make it happen. So like ideal for me, like if we're talking like 5 years from now, is like business 2 to 3 days of the week, 5 days of the week nonprofit, and then that's where I'm at. You know what I mean?